What is up? Profit, productivity, and profit. Wherever you're watching this, I'm going to share something pretty powerful with you. It's an exercise I went through with a private client yesterday. And as you know, one of the things that's really important is that we don't just generate more revenue for the sake of generating more revenue. We want to make sure we're funding our life goals, something Dan Nicholson talks about all the time in our wealth Q&A when we do our office hours for the wealth acceleration stuff. We want to make sure we're funding our goals. Because sometimes we sit down and we say, hey, look, I don't want to work more hours. I don't really want to hire anybody. I could raise my price, but I'm not comfortable doing that. And we look and we say, look, to fund your goals, to get to where you want to be, you have to make an extra $60,000 a year in profit, right? So not revenue, profit. And the thought is like, well, I'm stuck, right? And so what we did was we walked through the R3 framework, which I obviously teaching the full thing at r3class.com. Walk through the R3 framework. I'm going to share with you this really cool thing that people miss sometimes. And it's super powerful. And we're tapping into the multiplicative growth, right? The geometric growth. So we don't necessarily want to take on more clients. We don't necessarily want to work more hours because we're trying to fund our priorities, like have more free time to spend with our kids and in the community and stuff like that, right? And we need $60,000 in profit per year to reach all of our goals. Retire when we want to retire, fund the things we want to fund, yada, yada, yada. So where can we find $60,000 in profit? Well, here's where they're at right now. Okay, they had 120 members at $1,200 a month. 120 members, $1,200 a month, okay? So how do we add $60,000 of profit to that without more work, without necessarily raising prices, which increases the friction of a sale? Maybe they lose members at a higher price. Where do we find that? All right, so currently, $1,200 a month times 12 months. So a client to them is worth about $14,400 a year, right? And I can't see comments, but let me know if that makes sense. Following along, $1,200 per month. People stick around forever, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? So we're looking at $14,400 a year per client. So where do we find all the profit? If we don't want to increase our ad spend, we don't want to do more sales, we don't want to increase the friction. We're looking for, somebody said, what's up, dude? I can't see the comments. I can see the comments. I can't see who's leaving them. I'm on a weird software. So does that make sense here? You're tracking along. They got 1,200 clients. That's 14, or they got 120 members at 1,200 a year. So that's 14,400 per member per year. And we're looking for the multiplicative. Now watch how simple this is. Watch how we increase profit without increasing ad spend, making more sales, any of that stuff. We're using the R3 framework and we're looking for the multiplicative, because most people, you're way overcomplicating how to scale your business. All right. So does it stand to reason? And I'd love some interaction here. Does it stand to reason that if we charge $1,200 a month, we could charge $300 a week? Does that seem reasonable? I mean, I know it's reasonable because I know this industry really, really well, but put yourself in the shoes. Would you be comfortable saying, look, $300 a week? It's not really raising the price. We're just charging weekly instead. Okay. I'm going to assume that makes sense to you. And I know this industry really well. I know they actually prefer to pay weekly. So we got $300 a week membership. And there are 52 weeks in a year, right? $300 a week membership. We didn't increase the friction of the sale. We haven't added any more clients. And what we've done is each client is worth $1,200 more per year. Yeah, $1,200 more per year, because we found an opportunity for multiplicative and geometric growth that was not high friction. Okay, everybody's doing this additive stuff, which means you have to do more in order to make more. You don't have to do more here. You just charge differently. Okay. So looking for $60,000 in profit per year, we found $144,000 in profit. right? 1,200 more per member at 120 members. They have the same capacity. They're charging the same price as far as anybody else is concerned. They're not working anymore. In fact, they could work less because there's an overage. We only needed to find $60,000 in profit. We found 144 per year just by tapping into just understanding the touch points and the power of the multiplicative processes, the geometric growth. Okay, so before you spend more on ads, before you decide to double your volume of sales calls, this is the kind of stuff, r3class.com, I teach this in this order. I actually teach it in the order it's going to be most profitable. But look at these touch points and look at how you're doing things before you start doing more. This is a case here of optimization before maximization. So now that every client is worth $1,200 more per year, every client they acquire via ad spend or otherwise becomes more profitable. So they actually have a far greater return on their marketing efforts by first kind of plugging the holes in the leaky bucket, right? That makes sense. Finding these multiplicative processes so that everything you do on the front end becomes geometrically, exponentially more beneficial and profitable. So huge thing. Most people, you only need maybe like $50,000 or $100,000 profit, or maybe $200,000 or $300,000 profit even a year. Not revenue, but profit, which is why we look for these points here, because it doesn't cost any more money to change the way you charge people, right? So this is 100% profit. It's $144,000 is 100% profit in your pocket, funding your, as Dan would say, Dan Nicholson, funding your priorities, which is really the goal here, right? So invert, stop focusing on the additive stuff, which is more marketing, and look for these multiplicative processes. Stop making your growth so complicated. It's really not. If you have any clients at all, anybody that comes in, we can find dozens of touch points that will grow your profit and your revenue, but more importantly, your profit, with little tiny tweaks that don't require more work. Sometimes they require less work, which is pretty cool. Hopefully that makes sense. Just a little cool thing I went through yesterday, and I just ran the numbers this morning. Is weekly pay regardless of their vacations? That's an in the weeds question. It depends. If you rent your house and you happen to pay weekly, I don't think they discount you if you take a vacation. Other services might. So it really depends on the industry. It's more, and also just to point it out, because I actually can't see who's making these comments, so I don't know who I'm talking to right now. If you get that in the weeds, you're going to miss the forest for the trees, right? Like you're trying to take the tactical when what's really important is the concept of the multiplicative process. Like the details, you get lost in the details. You're not developing or filling your toolbox with tools that are useful. The point is take an additive thing and make it multiplicative. Whether or not you want to include their vacations or not, I don't know. If you did it monthly, do it weekly. If you didn't do it monthly, don't do it weekly. It's Ross, LOL. Yeah, I can't see. I'm on StreamYard right now. You probably see the little StreamYard logo somewhere in the corner. So it just says Facebook user. So it's also, really important. I'll give you this tactical stuff. But if you lead with tactics, you're on really, really thin ice, right? Like the idea is, how to look at your business and go, hey, you know what? This is an additive process and there's opportunity for geometric growth here, and then pull those levers and make a bunch of money. It's not so much like I'm going to charge weekly now, because it doesn't work in every industry, but the concept, the principle of geometric growth over linear growth is really what I'm trying to get across here. This is just an example. Hopefully that is useful. Some industries will handle this far better than others. This works really, really well in fitness. It works pretty good in business too. I'm not sure about high ticket. It works really well in low ticket continuity in business. But the concept remains the same. Look for geometric growth, because that's where your profit increases and the amount of time you spend working does not increase. which is where most people get lost. They do a lot of additive linear stuff where they set up all these processes where they have to take more sales calls or spend more money or do more fulfillment in order to make more money. And then really you just have a job. It might be a really high paying job. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to be aware that if your process is additive, you have a job. Cool. Hopefully that's useful. Tag your friends, share this. Anybody that may be struggling or anybody that has any kind of continuity, share it with them and let me know what you think. Implement it, share it. Let me know how it's useful. And I'll catch you guys when I catch you guys.